with any type of drip campaign that you might decide on doing, you are looking to, for the most part, build credibility, help them know, like, and trust you, build that connection with them.
So Sam, when we're working on drip campaigns, which is really what we're talking about when anything after you sign up for, you opt into a list and you start getting emails dripped to you. I've found that marketers, copywriters, startup founders, they all they want to do a drip campaign. They know they're supposed to, or they call it an autoresponder or automation or whatever for that particular thing. Yeah. But they stop because they don't know what to put in it. They don't know how to really plot it. So what do you do when you're plotting a drip campaign for a client or for yourself?
Yeah, no, it's whenever you ask yourself that and you have no answer, I think it's important to take a few steps back and look at what type of a campaign you're trying to put together. So there are 5, 10, 15, 20 different types of campaigns you can actually create. But once you know that, you're off to a good start. And here are a couple of examples. Is the drip campaign for nurturing leads? Is it welcoming someone that made a purchase? Are you welcoming them now into your family, or is something else? Is it an onboarding campaign? Is it for abandoned shopping carts, renewals, confirmations, courses, unsubscribes? Like, what's the purpose of the campaign itself? Like, why are you putting it together, and what are you trying to make it do? Now, with any type of drip campaign that you might decide on doing, you are looking to, for the most part, build credibility, help them know, like, and trust you, build that connection with them. Use also education-based marketing as opposed to just blasting them with sales messages. You also want to have an educational element usually to a drip campaign. And at the end of it or throughout it, you're all looking for that drip campaign to do something, convert them into the next step, whatever that might be. So whether it's a mini course, these is some of the common ones are like a mini course. You're giving them an education for a day or a week or months or whatever it is, or it's an onboarding sequence, right? It's important to keep in mind that you set an expectation for a delivery time frame. And by that, I mean, if you're telling people you're going to give them a 7-day mini course, and you deliver it over the course of 7 days, right? If you're telling them that every Thursday or every Wednesday I'm going to send out an email, then you do exactly that. So once you know what type of a drip campaign you're pulling together and plotting, also keep in mind that, okay, is there an expectation of delivery time frame that I need to address and also use? Now, with any drip campaign, especially if it's about nurturing a lead or even an onboarding, let's say you were trying to take someone from a free trial to a paying user of your app, you want to think in terms of results in advance. And what that is that, okay, you know and determine what the ultimate outcome is that your onboarded user is looking for. Right. Then you want to kind of reverse engineer your way back from that. And I recommend this in general for any drip campaign, is just think in terms of reverse engineering. What are the results that I can deliver in advance to them actually getting it? And so you think your way back, and you go, all right, what steps do they need to take to get to the ultimate outcome? If I want to get them to become a paying user, what do they need to do leading up to that? What do they need to know? What do they need to like? How often do they need to use the app? How can I lead them and guide them to that outcome, and knowing what those steps are, and then plotting your campaign so that an email or each, backwards, exactly. So that each email can addresses that and bring someone forward. Yeah. Now, another part of this is, when should I be sending? How often should I be sending? Every day, every week, a couple times a week. And there's no hard or fast rule to this. It really depends on the type of campaign you are using. However, what I found, and I know you use it as well, Joanna, is there's something called the Fibonacci numbers, and that's about as much math as I know. So I'm not going to get into math of it.
Zero plus one.
Yeah, exactly. I just look at it and I follow it, right? So basically, it's a string of numbers that increase at a certain according to certain rules. And so you have 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 11, and so on. And that's a great way to get started with a drip campaign, because, day 0, on 0, they get a welcome email if they sign up for something, or if there's an onboarding sequence, they get a first kind of orientation email maybe. Day 1, which is the next day, they get another email that covers another topic or a certain point. Day 2, they get another email. Day 3, they get another email. And so you escalate the delivery of that. Go ahead.
But I want to pause on the 2 on day 1, which is, I think, important, right? So you have this plotted drip campaign following the Fibonacci sequence where you got the welcome, and you have day 1 is the start of the drip. But if you have 2 day 1s, what's that second one? And for us, when I'm plotting these, you might have your own, Sam, but for me, I have day 1 as there's like a 2-prong, right? So you've got day 1 is starting out the proper drip campaign where it's like educational or whatever it might be. And day 1, second prong usually comes a couple hours later, where it's a personal email from the sender with like a quick question or something that feels more intimate, that someone could actually respond to. So I do want to pause on that point. Fibonacci sequence.
Good pause, and that's that's very true. And I think what I've tend to see and use a lot is I tend to use that second email as a way to just ensure deliverability. And so it'll be a short email that reaches out and saying, hey, and let's say I sent the first email in the morning at 9 a.m. or something. And then at 4 or 5 p.m. in the afternoon, I'll ask, hey, did you get my email this morning? It had this subject line. Just, let me know if you got it or not, but just respond so that I can know that you're getting everything you need. What that helps with is that they're now opening your emails and they're also responding to you, which will help with the deliverability. So you can use that to kind of ensure that people actually get your future emails.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's effective. It works, and I've seen it work a lot. So that's a good tip to use. So look up the Fibonacci numbers, the string of numbers. I'm not going to rattle through them now, but it's essentially just helping you space out the timeline through which you're sending emails, like on what day and how often and so on. Now, the last 2 things I want to say here with plotting is you want to have story continuity to your drip campaign, and also making sure that each email ends with a cliffhanger. And so what I mean by that is, this ties into the results in advance that I just mentioned too. You want people to feel like they're not just getting a bunch of random broadcast emails sent to them that have no connection or very vague connection. Us as people respond to story, we respond to a beginning, a middle, and end. We respond to a narrative thinking, right? We think in terms of narratives, and we think in terms of time. So the more you can have a clear arc to your drip campaign, what's happening in the beginning, what's the journey people are going through, and it might sound cheesy, but even if you have an onboarding sequence, what's the journey of someone using your app first, getting to know it, getting to the moment of, aha, like this is a great app, I'm going to continue using it, and then what's the resolution to that story. And then each email can function to bring up the next one and lead someone to look forward to the next email. And that can be ending with a cliffhanger type, or even ending with, okay, next day or next week, we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z, and here's why you should look for it. And you give them a reason to look forward to your next email. So plotting a drip campaign, there are so many ways of doing it, but I really recommend that you determine what type of campaign you're looking to do and to use. You set expectations for delivery time frame. You think in terms of results in advance and what steps someone has to take before they get to that outcome. You want to use, you can use the Fibonacci numbers to kind of space it out early on. In the beginning is figuring out, okay, on what day do I send what? And then having that story continuity and cliffhanger elements to the emails themselves. So it's not just information coming at them, but there's a reason behind everything as well.